Welcome, everybody, to the iBUG Buzz, episode 564 for December 19, 2022. I'm Greg. I'll be co-hosting tonight with Sandhya. And for any of you that might be new to the iBUG Buzz, whether you're joining us on this call or listening to a recording of this call, we extend a special welcome. iBUG Buzz is a weekly open forum where we encourage you to ask questions, bring up issues related to your iOS devices. And that would be the iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, Apple Watch, and specifically questions and issues related to VoiceOver, using VoiceOver and other accessibility features on those devices. We like to start each call with announcements and a preview of other iBUG events coming up near term. So for that, I'll turn it over to our Wikipedia of all things iBUG, Sandhya.
All right. Thank you, Greg. And yes, we still have a busy week ahead of us. So for the next 2 hours, we will be in the iBug Buzz and talking about all the things Greg just talked about. Tomorrow, all things that all events are on Zoom unless specified otherwise, and all times are central. Tomorrow from 5 to 6, we'll have Clubhouse, will be the Mac Buzz, all questions you have relating to the Mac. Then on Wednesday, we have Android Insight from 7 to 8:30. Come with all those great questions about your A-Lady or Google devices and all kinds of things. So that's a great place to get all those questions answered. Thursday, we're off. And then Friday is iBug Night at the Virtual Movies. So we will have the big reveal at the top of the hour. So come and test your knowledge of movie trivia and try to figure out what the movie is. And then let's see. We had a great Apple workshop this weekend, some fun and some information, and we did some demos. So I believe that is posted. So please check it out on our website. For social media, we have a website, ibugtoday.org, ibugtoday.org. We have a Twitter, is at ibugtoday. We have a Facebook account, facebook.com/group/ibugtoday. And we also have a fan page. Then let's see, we have an email address, is ibugtoday@gmail.com. And we have a mentoring program if you need help with as a beginner user, complete the application under the training tab. And if you would like to offer your services as a mentor, you can fill out the respective application for that. And I just want to announce that we will not have a meeting next Monday. Next Monday is the 26th. We will not be here, but we will be back at the beginning of the year on November, on January 2nd. And we will also have the movie, usually our Friday night movie is actually going to be moving to Saturday, December 31st. So we will celebrate the new year together, and we'll watch the ball drop and bring in the new year together. So join us on Saturday for that, December 31st. All right, with that, I'm going to hand it back to you, Greg.
All right. Thank you, Sandhya. So at this point in the call, we like to go around and see who's here. Let everybody say hello. So if you would, you'll need to unmute, state your name, tell us where you're from. If you're new to the iBUG Buzz, please share that with us. So I'll get things started. I'm Greg in Texas.
This is Herbie in Houston.
Hey, Herbie.
Julie in Houston.
Hi, Julie.
Pete
Wesley
in
in
Florida.
Pennsylvania.
Whoop, I got Pete. And who else was that?
Wesley from Pennsylvania.
Hey, welcome.
By the way, Sandhya, could you repeat what is tomorrow night? I didn't catch that.
All right, this is Sandhya, so it's going to be the Clubhouse Mac Buzz.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Thank
you.
Okay, who else have we got?
Sarah from Vermont.
Welcome.
Judy in Connecticut.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, Judy. Hi, Sarah.
Still in New Hampshire. New England
Jody.
all the way.
All right. Who else is out there?
Vanessa, Georgia.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hey.
Gary in Austin.
Hey, Gary.
Ned from
Janet.
Texas.
Hi, Ned. Hi, Janet.
Hello, from Colorado with my husband Doc. He's running around here somewhere too. So
All right. Welcome to both of you.
Brian from Ontario, Canuckland.
Hi, Brian. Anybody else want to say hello? All right.
Sandhya in Houston.
Sandhya in Houston. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to questions. And Sandhya, was there, I didn't hear anybody that's new.
No, nobody knew.
Okay. All right. So let's just open it up. Questions or issues? Who's got the first? Go ahead.
Janet in Colorado has a quick question.
Okay. Go ahead, Janet.
It's a new question for a watch newbie, wants to be a watch newbie. What is auto speak on your watch?
All right. Who can give us an answer to auto speak on the Apple Watch?
Do you, are you meaning like whether you can shut, oh, sorry, this is Sarah.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Do you mean whether you can shut off speech or not? Like with the 3-finger single tap?
Right.
No, this is Janet. No, this is a thing in when you're on an app or when you're on an app or something, you can swipe up or down and this is auto speak.
Sarah, this is Sarah.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I think it's just voiceover because mine says that too.
Yeah, it has to do with voiceover, but I'm not sure what it is or how it works. That's why I was asking. Maybe I stumped the call.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Anybody else have any? I am not familiar with that, or that's not ringing a bell for me on the watch. Anybody else have any have a response to that?
So this is Herbie.
Yeah, Herbie.
I'm just totally lost here. So let's see if we can just backtrack. So where are you exactly encountering this again?
Janet, go ahead.
There's a thing when you can manage your. I'm not really sure where it is, but somewhere on the watch there's auto speak on the main screen when you flick up and down. I'd have to get his watch.
Are you thinking about the rotor?
No, it's not the rotor. Let me see your watch, Doc.
All right, why don't you go on mute and figure that out and then come back, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do that.
Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
go on.
move on. Let's move on to another question. And Janet, come back when you get it figured out, and we'll see if we can respond to your question. Next question.
This is Karen.
Go ahead, Karen.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. In a text message conversation, I was swiping to delete a couple of conversations I didn't need. And when I deleted it, I realized that the focus had moved. And I got the one above it or the one below it, but it deleted the wrong, and deleted the conversation I didn't want it to delete. And that was just horrible. It was a horrible experience. And is there any way to retrieve that?
Okay.
This is Pete.
Because
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
it happened once and it got me again.
Karen, how long ago did you do this? Just curious.
About a month ago.
Oh, a month
And
ago.
the first time it happened, I was like, man, how'd that happen? And then when I was deleting some more conversations, instead of really paying attention, swiping left, swiping right, doing it a couple times to make sure it was on that conversation, I did it again. I was doing it fast. And I heard the conversation, but when I deleted it, It was the wrong
Okay.
one. I was
Yeah.
like,
So
The thing
Pete,
I
go
was
ahead.
trying to think of, Greg, thanks, is, and you usually have to jump on it pretty quickly, is in your rotor, in the edit function on your rotor, when you turn your rotor and you get to edit, there's an undo option. And sometimes that will undo the last task that you did. Like if you type something, it will undo the typing and, remove it. Or if you deleted something, it'll undo the delete and maybe replace it. But that's only short-lived, and I don't think it'll go back to a month ago. That was the only thought I had.
Yeah, let me ask you,
Yeah.
what version of iOS software are you running?
on the 15 something, the latest. It's not 16 yet. I just haven't got around to updating it yet.
Okay.
Wesley?
Yeah, go ahead, Wesley.
So with pre-version 16, you cannot, according to my knowledge, you cannot retrieve your deleted messages at all.
It was the whole conversation, not just a message. The whole text.
But yeah, that is a known voiceover issue that the focus is jumping around.
Right. Let me give others a chance to respond, and then I'll add a comment. Anybody else want to weigh in on that? Okay. In iOS 16, I believe if you you have an option to recover deleted messages. And so I believe you have to go up and tap on the edit button on your messages screen. And if you flick through that, it'll bring up a list of your deleted messages, and then you can retrieve those. But you'd have to be running 16 to do that. That was a new feature.
Right. This is Karen. It was the whole conversation. It was the whole.
You can, you can delete that, or you can retrieve that.
Okay.
But you'd have to have upgraded to iOS 16 to do that.
So it will retrieve a whole conversation?
Yes.
Not just a part of a conversation, but the whole.
No, I think it'll retrieve the entire conversation.
Okay.
The entire string.
Right. And thank you for whoever gave me the advice on trying to edit and undo. I'll keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, this is Greg. Okay, so let's move on to another question.
This is Judy.
Judy, go ahead.
Hi, thanks. I have a friend who just updated to his iPad to 16.2, and he saw this app called Freeform. And I told him that I would ask you guys and try to find out what it is and what it does. So that's my question. And is it voiceover friendly?
Okay. Do we have somebody that wants to respond to that? Anybody have experience with Freeform? Okay, I think we're gonna need some time for some. That's a brand new.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's voiceover friendly, but I think we'll need some time for people to play with that.
This is Janet.
Janet, go ahead.
Freeform is sound like it was a collaboration tool for people, and I have a feeling it's not accessible. And I have an update on my question.
Okay.
If Judy has any more comments, you can comment. Otherwise, I'm going to
I'm
continue.
all set. Thanks, Janet.
Yeah,
This is Sarah.
Well, yeah, Sarah, go ahead.
Freeform is sort of a multimedia thing. It is voiceover friendly. And it's basically like a fancy notes. You can draw in it. You can put text in it. You can insert all sorts of stuff, pictures, et cetera, and it's kind of like a whiteboard in school, but a multimedia whiteboard. So again, I think it's really just a fancy notes.
Right. This is Greg. Does that have to be done in FaceTime, or is that how does that work?
It's its own. It's Sarah. It's its own app, and you can share it and collaborate. but it's not part of FaceTime, I don't believe.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to let people play with that a little bit and see what our experiences are with that. Let's move on to another question.
Oh, Janet was our update before she eats her supper. It's on the clock. It's on the clock face of the Apple Watch. And it says enable auto speak when you click up and down. Control center, notification center, and then enable auto speak.
Okay.
And I was wondering what it was.
Herbie, do you have any idea about that?
Yes and no, because I know what you're talking about now, and I'm forgetting what it does. I think it has to do with the watch constantly talking when you touch the watch face, if I remember correctly. And I have mine, I think I turned mine off because I found it annoying, but I do know what you're talking about, and it is, so.
Okay, Janet, tell me again, how did you get to that? You go to the clock face?
The clock face of the watch.
Okay.
And you swipe up and down. It says control center, notification center, enable auto speak.
Okay. And if you have that turned on, then the clock is going to announce whenever you hit the crown, it'll announce the time, or is it?
I don't know what it does. That's why I was asking you.
Okay, we'll have to do some research on that. And Herbie, do you have any other thoughts on that?
Guess not.
Okay.
Sorry about earlier, Sandhya, about not muting.
Yeah, that's a good question, though. We'll have to do some checking on that, Janet. All right, who has another question?
This is Helene.
Helene, go ahead.
I don't know if it's something from 16, but when I do my emails, I get emails that say it's not all downloaded. It's got 3%, do something to download the rest of the message. Is that something that is just from one particular email or two, or is it a new statement that email announces? And when I try to download the rest of the message, nothing ever happens.
Okay. Who can respond to that? Email messages aren't completely downloading. Yeah, Pete, go ahead.
I just want to say that I have seen that as well, and I don't think it's random. I think it's intentional, and my guess is that it's with iOS 16 or 16.2. And it happens on almost every email I receive. It happens whenever I want to reply to an email or forward an email. It always prompts me to say, this email has not been completely downloaded. Do you wish to download the remaining portion before you forward it or before you reply or something like that? And I think it's just a means of saving data, whether it's cellular or, I'm mostly on my Wi-Fi at home. But I think it gives you an opportunity to save data if you choose to do that. And I think you can, if there's a lot of data that's not necessary, if you just want to reply to an email to whoever sent it and you just want to say, okay, I'll see you at noon or something like that, then you don't want to download the rest of the undownloaded data. But I'm guessing it's 16.2, although I don't know that for sure.
Right. Thanks, Pete. I've had that message before pre 16, but it seems like I'm getting it a lot more often with the 16.2. Anybody else want to comment on that? Gary, go ahead.
Yeah, I've seen it too for, I think it was pre-16, if memory serves. I was just thinking about that, but it seems like now, it's on every message. And I don't know how critical it is, but it does seem to block you from forwarding messages until you download the rest of it. So,
All right, good. Thank you, Gary. Any other comments on that real quick? All right, let's go ahead and move on.
This is Pete with a observation.
Go ahead, Pete.
I don't know if anybody's noticed it, but whenever I am posting on Facebook, whether it's an original post or a comment, anytime I'm entering text, I will often see the word attachment appear after my text. It happens also when I've dictated a text and I need to go in and edit it, which I find myself doing a lot, and I'll delete a word. And whenever I have gone in and deleted or made changes or edited previous text that I have entered, the word attachment will be entered there for no rhyme or reason. And I find myself going in and deleting it, thinking that people who see my text, with vision, will be seeing that word attachment littered all over my comment or my post. Well, I found out from a sighted person that sighted people really don't see it. It's not a visual component of my post or my comment. So I don't really know what that means, other than has anybody else seen it? And I was worried about it, but now I'm not so worried, knowing that that sighted people don't see it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Does anybody check Pete's posts and heard attachments?
Or their own.
Or their own, yeah.
I guess I'm crazy.
You are. I'm
I
thinking.
guess.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm thinking you've lost it. Okay.
Well, next time you edit a text, somebody go in and do by, go reverse by character, or go to the end of wherever you edited it, and then advance by character or word, and see if you don't hear the word attachment from VoiceOver.
All right. Something for people to get back with us on.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Pete. Yeah.
This is Chris.
Yeah, go ahead. Chris,
Pete, you said, you said Facebook. I've
Yeah.
seen it sometimes when it's nothing to do with Facebook, when I'm editing just a regular text file or notes file or something like that. It'll just throw characters in. I'll hear it say, as it reads the whole thing, it'll say like comma, comma, space, space. And I'm like, I know there's not 2 commas there. And I'll go back. Actually, it's the opposite. When I go by character, I'll hear it do comma, comma, space, all this, some other stuff. But then when it reads it completely, it says it okay. And so I know it's not really there.
Interesting. Now, are you using the auto punctuation feature? Are you dictating and using auto punctuation, or are you typing?
This is Pete, and I have turned off auto punctuation, but I usually dictate first, and then I'll go in and edit. And I found that editing my punctuation without auto punctuation is a whole lot simpler and quicker. But no, I don't have the auto punctuation on.
Yeah. How about you, Chris?
Nothing. I have nothing auto on.
Okay.
And I type it in using a Bluetooth keyboard, so I know it's not there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other comments on that? All right, let's go ahead and pick up another question.
Gary?
Yeah, Gary, go ahead.
Got a quick settings question. The other day we upgraded phones, and one of them, when it goes into messages, it goes into landscape mode. And I know there's a setting to make it not do that, and I can't remember what it is.
Okay, you want to keep your phone in portrait setting, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. Who wants to
One of them-
respond to that?
This is Jody.
Jody, go ahead.
Yes, you want to bring up your control center. You go to the status bar, and then you swipe up with 3 fingers. That will bring up the control center. And then on the left side of the screen, there'll be a toggle to turn on and off lock screen.
Yeah, okay. I know because it just we had to reset all settings on one of the phones we bought. So it's that we did it so many phones ago that I just couldn't find it.
Couldn't
So
remember where
thanks
it
for
is.
that.
Yeah. And then of
Right.
course you get rid of the control center by hitting the home or your,
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. I'm a big believer in the control center. So
Okay.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, good.
Sure.
And Gary, I'll caution you when you set up a new phone. Some of your I've had some of the voiceover settings change when I set up the new phone. So kind of keep an eye out for that. If something strange is happening, you may need to go back in and check some of your voiceover settings.
Yeah, we had a real odd situation when we first were setting it up. When we were trying to do the passcode, the where the character should be was saying all this stuff like Celeste, code digital, something, just all this random figures and stuff. And so that was kind of interesting. That when we had to reset all settings. But yeah, there are some interesting things that can occur. But
I had the same experience.
but yeah,
All right.
these are pretty much all good to go now. So
Yeah.
thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. All right, so who has the next question? Jerry, go ahead.
I just have a answer for a question that was asked last week, unless it was answered after the halftime or today already. Janet had a question regarding closing apps on the Apple Watch.
Okay, go ahead.
What's that? The way to do that, it is possible. All you have to do is press the crown, then the side button. The dock will come up. Swipe up on the app, on all the apps will appear there that are open. You swipe up, you have two options, activate or remove. Double tap on remove and the app will close. Once all the apps are closed, it'll just say recently used apps appear here. That's how you close the apps on the Apple Watch.
Okay. And when you select remove, you're not removing the app from the watch, are you? You're just closing it?
No, you're not removing it.
Okay.
You're just closing it.
All right, good. Thank you, Jerry. Great
You're
follow-up.
welcome.
This is
All right.
Doc. This is Doc Wright.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question for it. I took several apps on my 13 Pro Max from Google and put them in the same folder, and it named the folder utilities. And I use my keyboard all the time with my Bluetooth keyboard all the time. And I mistakenly renamed the folder Google. But when I named it, using the shift VO and slash and renamed it that way. But in doing so, my other folder that was called utilities is now calling itself Google also.
Okay,
And
so you want to retitle some folders?
Yep.
Okay.
Without them showing up, because I went into the folder and called myself retitling the one that was originally called utilities, changing it back. And it seemed to work, but now everywhere I flick to, it calls something utilities first.
Okay. Who can respond to that? Anybody? Okay, let me offer a suggestion, because I changed a folder name somewhere along the line, and as I flicked around the screen, it would frequently read that folder name before it read another folder name, like it would read. Yeah, is that what's happening to you?
Yep.
Okay, you need to delete. I'm thinking probably, I'm not sure if it's the 2-finger double tap to rename the folder, but basically you need to delete that folder name and maybe just put a space in there. And that will at least keep it from repeating that utility name before, the other folder names. And I don't know. Let's see if anybody else can suggest anything other than that 2-finger
This is
double
Herbie.
tap. Herbie, go ahead.
So you just want to know how to rename a folder, basically?
Well, I accidentally renamed it using the voiceover thing, using that shift VO/, and that only partially worked. And then somebody on one of my email lists showed me a different way, but it's still, anytime I flick across the screen, and that's anywhere, it's not just the home screen. I can be in my text messages. I can be in the phone app. It will always announce utilities first and then say what is actually there.
Wait a minute. So you can be in an app and you didn't rename it, did you? If you're in your phone app, you wouldn't see your utilities folder.
Right.
This
But
is
So I don't think you renamed a folder. I think you renamed I think you did a element label rename, and Chanel is, I think, going to either correct me or go ahead, Chanel.
Oh, well, I didn't get permission. Or
Yeah,
is it okay,
go ahead, Chanel.
Greg? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
go
I
ahead.
don't know.
No,
I
go
didn't
ahead.
mean to whatever. But I think, yeah, you're going to basically have to find, if you can, the same thing you named and basically delete the name of that element if that's possible. Yeah, I'm going along the same direction Herbie is. So when you never want to do that 2-finger whatever it is, double tap and hold, unless you're trying to label an unlabeled image or graphic or something. Or some people use it to select and copy text from a field, but there's other ways of doing that. So the way to properly rename a folder is to do like a 1-finger triple tap or 1-finger double tap and hold to get into edit mode. And then you find the folder, you double tap on it, and then if you flick left, there should be an edit box to type in the folder name. And I will try to verify that now to make sure I'm actually saying something correct. But
Right. And we're probably getting a little more detail than we want to on this call, but basically you're going to have to open the new folder you created and go into edit and delete the name. And you may need to take those apps out of that folder and then recreate it with a different name. That you may have to do that to get it. But I've had that problem and it's annoying.
Yep.
Okay.
I will check it out. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. All right. How about another question?
This is Jody.
Jody, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was talking to a friend and she's having a problem with her voiceover volume changing by itself. I haven't had that problem, so I'm not sure how to solve it.
Okay.
Volume will go up and down and she isn't doing anything to change it.
All right. Who has a response on that? I know we've talked about that on that's come up on some calls. Who can respond to that?
This is Pete.
Yeah, Pete, go ahead.
Just a wide open thought. Does she have audio ducking on? Do you think, Jody?
I don't know. I'll have to ask her. Thank you.
That's the only thing I can think of that would affect your voiceover audio without you doing it.
Okay, thank you. I'll check that.
All right. Good question. How about another question? I know there are questions out there. Any new apps?
This is Chris.
Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
I have a question about Voice Stream Reader, the latest update to it. I'm still running iOS 15, but I guess it's the same on both. So it's just recently updated, and I just like it at all. It's just really, you have to now flick about 7 or 8 times to get to your list of books in Voice Stream Reader, and regardless whatever folder or filter. Well, they used to call it filter that you're in. Before it was just like 2 swipes. So I don't know if they've if they didn't really keep maybe voiceover users in mind with this. I'm not quite sure. And now to delete a file or a book, you used to be able just to flick up once, I think, and you could delete it and you double tap and it would be gone. And now you have to do this confirmation. And I don't see any place to get rid of that confirmation. I know I can go into edit and get a list and then delete it and probably confirm it that way. But I just want to kind of pick around and do one here and one there kind of thing, without having to do that whole little confirmation thing, without having to go into edit. Has anybody noticed this too?
Yeah. So do we have some Voice Stream Reader users out there that have experienced that?
This is Chanel.
Chanel, go ahead.
I'm a little bit confused by the new format myself. Chris, I don't really have a definitive answer. I will play with it. I'm confused about what the library outline view button so I will see if I do get around to playing around with it. Meanwhile, hopefully somebody else knows, but just sympathizing with your frustration. So
commiserating.
And the developer of that app is really very has done a really good job with accessibility in the past. I hope he jumps on top of it. Herbie, go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I don't use filters, so I can't tell you if anything's more difficult to navigate because I just have everything on the main screen. But the library outline, it's a button now, and what it does is you can sort things by different categories like unread and flagged and stuff like that. So that's the idea of that. But at least on the main screen, I can still swipe up or down on a file and get to delete. So that one. Yep.
This is Chris.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, Chris.
Right, Herbie. The library outline, it previously was a filter. You had to double tap on the filter. It would give you the whole list of all your different file types and ways you can get to your files or flags. That's what that was before. Or if you had folders, create folders, that's the equivalent. But I can still swipe up or down on a file name. It's like right in the middle of the action item. It's like 4 up or 4 down. It's right in the middle now. And if I delete it, then I have to confirm it to delete it. So and plus the whole focusing is a little glitchy. I find just it doesn't keep the focus the same. And when you're swiping out from the top where the add button is to get to your list of books in whatever folder or file format, whatever you're in my case, just a folder. Now you're swiping and you have to hit also, there's the sort button, there's the grid view, the list view. I don't really see all that. That used to be at the bottom. Now it's at the top. Can anybody know how to switch that back, or can we?
I don't know if you can switch. This is Herbie.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you can switch that back. But what I do is this voiceover and focus is such an iffy thing to begin with at times. But one thing you could try is touching like the middle of the screen, like just do a quick touch and hold, and that might at least put your that'll put your focus on the books. And it may put you at the beginning. It may kind of put you in this a little bit into the list. But I've always had issues with focusing and voiceover, and but you might try that instead of the swipe and see if that at least gives you a little bit less frustration.
All right. Anybody else want to weigh in on Voice Stream Reader?
This is Jody.
Jody, go ahead.
Yeah, I do the same thing Herbie just said. Is I just move my finger down to the book list and avoid all of the stuff at the top. But I have noticed it's a little different when you want to add a book, and there's other things there too. So I just figured, okay, they've updated it. Here we go again.
Yeah. I wish they had a bigger play button on Voice Stream Reader.
Yeah.
That play button is just tiny, and yeah. I end up having to do a lot of left and right flicking sometimes to find that.
Two-finger double tap will help. We'll do it.
Okay.
Slap it.
All right.
Magic tap it.
Okay. Well, let me ask a question on the Bard app. So I've just had the where the voice comes on real loud occasionally. That problem seems to be, I still get that every once in a while, but not nearly as often. But sometimes when I want to rewind, I'll tap and hold on the rewind button, and it'll go, 30 seconds or 20 seconds and 1 minute and 5 minutes and 15 minutes. And whenever I want to stop, if I want to go back 15 minutes, then I'll lift my finger at 15. Sometimes it'll just keep going, 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours into book or beginning a book. Are other people experiencing that?
This is Helene.
Helene, go ahead.
Yes, that is a regular occurrence. And I sometimes, if I like the book enough, I'll restart it.
Okay. All right.
Because I can't control it.
Yeah. The other thing I found is a lot of times if it's acting up, I have to tap on the sleep timer button and then go back and type on the go button and the stop. Well, it'll be stop and then start again, and then it starts working fine.
This is Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah, go ahead.
I think it may be a quirk that they have to fix, because I've had to delete the app, not delete, turn off the app a number of times where it gets stuck. And it's just recently that it's, done exactly the same thing that you are talking about. It'll go back 2 hours. And that's just in the forward and backward places, not the obvious, not the chapter forward and back. But sometimes the sound will just totally go off and I'll have to turn off the app. I really think it's their latest update.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Pete.
And sorry, Sarah, I didn't mean to interrupt. I have not had any of those problems. I've heard about them here from you before too, Greg. But each time I've heard them, I've gone over and, tried to play with the sleep timer. And, I use the rewind feature all the time because I'm falling asleep without the sleep timer. So I use that rewind feature a lot. I've never encountered any of those problems, even trying to initiate them.
This is
so I would bring it to the attention of the developer if you can do that in one of the tabs there.
Okay. Yeah, Herbie, go ahead.
So really I have a quick suggestion. First of all, I think I experienced that one bug once, but to be fair, I use Audible more, the rewind bug more than I use, is what I'm talking about. I've definitely experienced the voice bug with, Bard gets suddenly super loud. I experienced it after them, usually with the sleep timer. I'll tell you another app where I experienced that too is Clubhouse, but that's neither here. If you click on a notification on the lock screen where the volume suddenly gets really amplified. But my suggestion when you encounter the rewind bug is, have you tried hitting the fast forward button? And because or the rewind button again. I'm sorry, the fast forward button, because you know how Bard has that feature where if you accidentally rewind or fast forward, you can go back the other direction and it remembers where you last left off if you do it in an X amount of seconds. And I wonder if that would at least get you back to where you originally started your rewinding from, just by hitting fast forward. Just a suggestion. Yeah. Like I said, I've only encountered that bug once. But
this is Sarah.
Yep. Sarah, go ahead.
You can do that actually. Sometimes you can, but it's not the fast forward button. It's the what do you call the button where you have chapters?
Okay. Yeah, the next button. Next button. The previous and next buttons. Yeah.
Exactly. The next button. You can get it back to the original, But sometimes the quirks happen on specific books. Like if the book is really old and hasn't, doesn't have the new markers on it, like the chapters won't work. And so sometimes you find those quirks on the older books, and it just doesn't have a marker to stop it.
This is Jody.
Yeah, Jody, go ahead.
Yeah, you can report problems directly to BARD support at loc.gov or NLS downloads at loc.gov. And there's actually regular BARD seminars, or whatever you want to call them, on Zoom that they've been holding every couple of weeks. And there's another one coming up on January 12th. If you also write to that email address and ask to subscribe to the BARD email list, then you can join the email list. And it's really nice. They've done a lot of nice things.
And I followed Jody. I followed your recommendation. I think the last time I was having trouble with BARD, and I emailed them, and I had a response within a day, and it was not it was an actual personal response as opposed to the
they're really
forum,
great about
so they're
that.
good.
Right.
Okay.
Move on. Yeah.
Good. All right. Sandhya says we need to move on. So come on. Who
This
has the
is
next
Jerry.
question? Jerry,
This
go.
is Jerry from Vermont. I actually have a response. I couldn't grab my phone quick enough to unmute to the question Jody had about the voiceover volume going up and down.
Okay.
It's an old answer, but you got to make sure your friend doesn't have the volume changing with the buttons. That you turn that off in settings, and that way it won't. She'll change the voiceover volume when she wants to change it, or he wants to change it.
Okay, thank you. Well,
okay,
pass that one on too. Thank you.
All right. Good. Who has another question? Somebody have a question? An issue that you're having? So I'll just make the observation that with iOS 16.2, the focus problem in the Mail app seems to have been solved, and that is nice. Where when you flick through your messages, it'll read the beginning of the message, like who it's from, and then it'll start reading content from another message or another email. That seems to have been resolved with 16.2.
This is David.
Yeah, David, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if we already discussed this, but there this new app called Menus for All. Has anybody used it? I guess my concern, it sounds pretty cool. I've heard it demonstrated on podcasts, and it's supposed to have like 500,000 menus for US, and but I'm wondering how it's going to be updated, because that seems like a really daunting task to update all those menus. I mean, I'm sure it's possible to get a good base, but then how do you keep it updated? And I mean, the developer I'm thinking of, I mean, it sounds like it's
right. And I think it's an individual that's doing that app.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how one person can go and scan through all these menus and like pull out the data and just keep it up. I mean,
all right. Has anybody tried that app? It is as I understand, it's a subscription app.
Yeah.
So you do pay a monthly cost. Has anybody tried it?
This is Sarah.
Yes, Sarah.
I have not tried it. I know one of the developers, and it's a couple of people. And but I don't know the answer as far as that is concerned. But maybe they have sort of a I don't know, what do you call it, a logarithm. But there's a couple of them, and I assume they have people who are also working in the background.
Right.
That's not really an answer, but
yeah, the podcast demos that I've heard, it sounds like it's a good app.
Is it Pete?
Yeah, Pete, go ahead.
Yeah, I talked to Jeff Thompson, who did the interview for Blind Abilities with one of the developers, and he was very impressed with it. And he did tell me, and I don't know how, so I couldn't tell you if it's logarithmic or automated in any way. He did say that they have a system in place where it will be updated regularly and reliably. So he was sold on it, and he's used it. He had used it several times as of the time I spoke with him, which was like a few days after the podcast had been published. So it does sound like a really cool app.
All right. Anybody else tried it?
This is Brian.
Yeah, Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, I tried it here in Canada, and there's an issue with postal code because they're not the same as the United States. So, but I did get a few restaurants around my place, and it was nice to have the menu right there. My understanding is as the restaurants update their menus, then the app will be updated also.
Okay. Yeah, it can be frustrating when you're doing Google searches trying for restaurants, trying to find menus, and boy, it's a real a lot of them don't read well.
This is Jody.
Yeah, Jody.
Yeah, I agree. Like Chili's is especially, you got to jump all over the place to find anything. What is the subscription fee for the menus for all?
Anybody know what that monthly fee is? Seems like it's $2.99 or $3.99. It's not a lot, but it's a monthly charge. Anybody know what the monthly cost is?
It's $2.99. I don't know if that's Canadian or American because I'm in Canada. $2.99 a month, or there's another option. I think it's $29.95 for the whole year.
Okay,
thank you.
good. Yeah, thank you. All right. How about another question?
This is Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
This is just related to Jody's question about her friend's phone, voiceover kind of going up and down.
Right.
Again, that has happened to me, and I'm still running iOS 15. I have an SE 2020. I'm not sure what your friend has, Jody, but I was just listening to something a couple of days ago, and all of a sudden it just dropped precipitously, and I wasn't even touching my phone. I thought, what is going on? So I don't have an answer. I just want to, it happened to me too. And it's happened 2 or 3 times, and I don't have any rhyme or reason. It wasn't board related. I don't know. So I just had to go back in and redo it and, play with it. And I thought, oh no. And I don't remember either the rotor on the volume or the controls on the side. We went and redid the settings. So my controls on the side did work or did not work. I had to kind of finagle something and get it back up again, but it just did it. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I know people on this call have talked about turning voiceover on and off and hitting the volume button up, and yeah, I'm not sure there's a specific fix for that, but it does happen. Apparently it's a bug. All right, another question.
This is Helene.
Go ahead, Helene.
I don't know. I'm just warning the community. I was away, so I'm not sure if it was from travel, but my Google charged my American Express $10, and they wrote me saying fraud alert. Did you do that? I said no. And then I came home. I left my iPad in the hotel, so they FedExed it back to me overnight. And when I wanted to know how much I got charged, I called Amex and I asked for recent charges, and then it said $10 for Google, and then it said $200 for Google, then it said $350 to Google. So of course I told them I didn't charge those. They have a Gmail attached to that, some MAS at Gmail, but this has not ever happened to me. So I'm just warning if people don't look at their bills very carefully. If it says Google, it may not be Google.
Yeah. Okay. Always important to check your credit card bills. We had somebody else had a question.
This is Terry.
Terry. Good evening.
Good evening. I have a follow-up from last week. I actually did my homework as I promised I would do. And to the question about whether or not you can do exercise or how much exercise information you can get if you do exercise using your phone versus your Apple Watch. And the answer is that you can, the thing you can't get with your phone is your heart rate. No, let me back up. You can use your phone with any number of apps which are accessible to collect various types of exercise data with your phone, and you can get your heart rate using various accessible apps with your phone. But with the heart rate, you need like a fingerprint sensor in order to do it. I don't know with the phones that don't have a home button. I'm not quite sure how that works, but there are any number of accessible apps for, counting steps or how distance that you've walked, but there is not a native iPhone app that you can use to collect data for the whatever type of exercise you're doing. But it is doable. Whereas on your watch, you can use the native Apple apps to do many of your exercises. But there are also some really good accessible apps out there as well that give you even more information than the native Apple Watch app will give you. And they do all store in your health app, which is accessible on your phone.
All right, good. Is anybody else using, so the fitness app was added to the iPhone just recently. It's been on the watch and it was just added to the phone, I believe, after iOS 16. I believe that's correct. Is anybody using that on the phone, the fitness app on the phone?
This is
Okay.
Terry.
Yeah, Terry.
Nobody mentioned that one, but I will follow up with that as well and get back to you next week about the fitness app on the phone, how well that's working.
I think that's correct. Can anybody confirm that? Okay.
This is Terry.
Yeah, go ahead,
again. Sorry. I just updated this phone that I'm using for you to 16.2. I will go and check now to see if it's here on this phone, just to verify that it is.
Okay.
And then if it is, I'd be glad to talk to several people who use it, and because we have a fitness, a health iOS app that these people would know. So I'm going to go and check and see if it is here, just to confirm that for
Okay.
you.
Good. And thanks for the follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who else have we got? We have I think we have do we have time or?
Nope, we don't have time.
Okay, all right.
All right. All right. Thank you, Greg. Great questions there. And now we're at the top of the hour. We'd like to give anybody a chance who didn't get to say hello and introduce themselves. Say your name and where you're from, please.
This is Terry from Arlington Heights, Illinois.
All right. Welcome.
Angelo from Ottawa.
Angela, welcome.
Vincent in the
All right. Vincent and Miss Bridget, welcome.
Julie from California.
Hello, Julie, welcome.
Chanel in Houston.
Hey, Chanel.
This is Brad. I'm in Dallas.
Hey, Brad.
Marcia in Sarasota.
Hello, Marcia.
Marvin in Chicago.
Hey, Marvin, welcome.
This is David in Houston.
Hey, David, welcome.
Claudia in Houston.
Nikki, San Francisco.
Hey, Claudia. Hey, Nikki, welcome. Anybody else?
Helene, Scottsdale, Arizona.
All right, welcome, Helene.
Did you hear Nikki from San Francisco?
Yes, welcome,
Oh, great.
Nikki.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right, anybody else?
Chris in Texas.
Hey, Chris, welcome. All right, okay, thank you. Just now we know what's going to happen next. We have the big reveal for our movie on Friday. We have some, I don't know what kind of clues we have, but we will soon find out. And the movie is on Friday night, starting at 8 p.m. Central Time. Social time starts at 7:30. Then after the movie, we'll have a description and some trivia. And for the social time, we have Name That Tune. We have some dumb, bad jokes and general silliness. So please join us for that on Friday. What are we going to be watching, you may ask? I have no idea. I don't know. We're going to find out. And with that, we're going to turn it over to our very own iBUG guy. iBUG guy, are you there?
Here comes Hanukkah, so much Hanukkah to celebrate Hanukkah.
Yes. We are back once again for another wonderful week of finding out what the movie is going to be this week. I'm sure it's something appropriate for the season. And yes, wishing all those that celebrate happy Hanukkah. We're in the midst of right now. All right. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Oh, before we go into getting ready for that,
Oh, no.
I want to know something. Okay. So you've heard of this, right? Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. I want to know what bobtails are. What the heck is a bobtail?
It's the tail of a deer. This is Pete.
This is Chris.
Yeah, that's pretty close. What about Chris?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. What did they say?
Bobtail. Go ahead, Chris.
What type of horse?
Close. So a
It's Herbie.
bobtail is a short or docked tail of an animal, especially a horse. So that's where they put the bells on the little bobtails of the horse pulling the sleigh or whatever. Anyway, now we are ready for another episode of
Oh my God.
All right.
Oh, the humanity.
We have some clues for you to help you figure out what the movie is. There are 5 clues, and you get 1 guess per clue. As always, say your name. Don't just be yelling out any titles of movies. And we are looking for the title of the movie for this week.
And people are allowed to stay unmuted if they behave
Yeah,
properly.
make it go faster. You can remain unmuted. Just say your name.
But behave. Don't go crazy.
Behave. All right. Clue number 1.
All right.
Our film this week is set during winter in New York.
New York.
Never have my.
This is Pete.
Oh, Pete, go ahead.
What is Home Alone?
Home Alone.
That's what I said. Home
I
Alone.
think we've seen that one before recently.
Shucks.
All right.
This
That
is
will
Chris.
be it. Who's that?
This Chris.
Chris.
Oh, there's so many. Have y'all seen Miracle on 34th Street?
Miracle on 34th Street. We have also seen that one.
Sorry.
But it is in the winter in New
I
York.
think Brad had a guess.
Oh,
No,
Brad.
that was
sorry.
it. I didn't hear the clue, but I think he just repeated it,
Oh,
sort of,
okay.
kind of.
Okay.
Winter
Okay.
in New York. All
right.
right, we're going to move on to clue number 2.
What?
We see a snowy setting. Setting? Yeah. A snowy setting with all the trimmings, including mistletoe.
That narrows it down. Snowy movie at Christmas time. Hey guys, come on.
Lots of
This is
movies to
Brooks.
guess from.
Uh-oh, somebody, Brooks?
Brooks.
Yes. The Accidental Tourist.
The Accidental Tourist. That is one we haven't seen. And we're still not going to see that one either. Good try.
This is Sarah.
Sarah.
When Harry Met Sally.
When Harry Met Sally is in New York. But I think it goes over several seasons. So we've already seen that one too.
This is
Good
Shree.
try. Anybody else?
This is Shree.
Shree's back.
Is it Batman?
What?
Batman.
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 Oh my gosh.
Batman.
11.
No.
There's way too much singing on this call today.
This is Greg.
Oh, Greg.
Greg.
Is it Transformers?
I
You
would have
too.
expected that out of someone else, but that's not it either. All right, we're going to move on to clue number 3.
Squeeze it out.
Mr. McCullough. The day would be good.
Wait, I
What?
said,
What? You're fading out.
no, my
That
sound
happened
system.
a long time ago.
We see a snowy setting. No, I already
We
said-
did that
we
already.
did that one. Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Clue number 3. I need to number these. That would help.
Yeah, that was. I
The
assume
star of the film commented after the release of the film, after release of the movie, I tried to look at it, but I had to switch it off. It made me feel sick.
That's encouraging.
Pretty harsh. No.
This is Janet.
Janet,
Christmas shoes.
Christmas shoes. Christmas shoes. But whatever you do, stay off of my Christmas shoes.
Oh my, Mr. Crystal,
No, that's
stop.
Bruce Suede.
Oh, okay.
Now he thinks he's Elvis. What's going on here?
Him and a
Who's to say
bazillion
he's
other
not?
people.
Star of the film
Oh, Shri, wait, Shri
commented.
has a guess.
Oh, Shri.
Save us, Shri.
Is it the reindeer games?
The Reindeer Games. We have not seen that one. It is set in some other city, but we don't know where it is. My says no.
Okay.
Anybody else before we move on to the next clue? All right, moving right along. Clue number
4.
I'm scared.
Is there a problem with my phone again? I just updated this one.
Here we go. Here we go. Any
The
day.
film is like a fine wine that improves with age.
This is Terry.
Terry.
I never guess at these things, and this is a stab in the dark. It's not White Christmas, is it?
White Christmas. I'm dreaming.
Oh,
That would be a good guess, but that's not it either.
I think
Okay.
that takes place up in Connecticut anyway.
Oh,
I
Mo.
think that's
Mo.
the name of the movie.
Oh, Mo's back.
Thin Man, 1984. 1934.
What was the name of it?
Thin Man. Thin Man.
Thin Man.
Thin Man.
It's old enough to age.
Tin Man.
No,
That's-
thin.
That was,
Like
that was in the
thick, but
Wizard
thin.
of Oz.
That's the Tin Man, Mr.
Just a
McCullough.
tin, yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Okay.
Good try, Mo. Try to do more better later. Okay, here we go for clue. No, anybody other get on a guess before I move on to the next clue? Clue number 5.
All right, all right, all right.
The story is a strange and fundamental fable. Ooh, that's a
Fundamental fable.
yeah. Just need to be a frolicking fundamental fable. It would have been better. The story is a strong and wait. The story is a strong and fundamental fable. Wait, did somebody already want to try to guess?
Well, let's
Yeah,
finish
I
the
won.
clue. I think you should finish the clue first.
This is Pete.
Pete was guessing.
All right, go ahead and
guessing,
guess.
I'm guessing elf.
Elf. That was almost gonna be it, but not. Good try, Pete. All right, the rest of the clue. It's sort of a Christmas Carol in reverse.
This is Shri.
This is Sarah.
Shri, then Sarah.
Enchanted.
Enchanted. Some enchanted. All right. Sarah, good try. Shri, come again.
Here's a bad try. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. We have seen that the last 2 years in a row. And guess what? We're going to watch it again. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, yes, yes,
Sarah.
But that's not in New York.
Where
that's
to
not in New
go?
York. Yeah, Bedford Falls is in New York.
Upstate New York.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Although Bedford Falls is a fake town.
The word is fictitious.
Fictitious
Big word.
town that is very similar to Seneca Falls. So, okay, so all right, Johnny, what do we have for a winner this week?
All right. Well, I think we know what's coming. Jody, you got to hand over your wings, and we are going to, she will be one of the latest fallen angel, and we will hand the wings over to Sarah. And Sarah, you got to keep these in trust for whenever we need them again. And
Yahoo!
all right,
Yeah,
so
good job,
there you
Sarah.
go. Thank you,
We're just gonna
Sarah.
fly from
Good
New
job,
Hampshire to
Sarah.
Vermont.
Yeah, it's not too far. You can fly right over and give them to her.
Yeah.
I don't know how you
Yeah, but
Way to go,
they'll probably
Sarah.
freeze up here.
All right. Okay. Well, very good. And with that, Mr. McCullough, you want to say good night, please? All right. Sarah gets applause. Wow.
Instead of one day of presents.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Crazy nights.
That's Adam Sandler.
All right. Here we go.
When you feel like the only kid in town without a Christmas tree, here's a list of people who are Jewish, just like you and me.
All right. Very good. And with that,
David Lee Roth lights the menorah. So do James Conn, Kirk Douglas, and the late Dinah Shore. Guess who eats together at the Carnegie Deli? Bowser from Sha-Na-Na and Arthur Fonzarelli. Paul Newman's half Jewish, Goldie Hawn's half too. Put them together, what a fine-looking Jew. You don't need Deck the Halls or Jingle Bell Rock, 'cause you can spin a dreidel with Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock, both Jewish.
okay. Very good. Thank you. All right. Very good. That's the end of Michael's movie minutia. Thank goodness. And now we are going to go back to our regularly scheduled program. We're going to have our iBUG Bytes segment. And then after that, we'll go back to our regular scheduled questions. Greg, are you there? Greg. Uh-oh. Well, we may have lost Greg. Okay, well, we will come back to that segment in just a moment. So in the interim, we will just continue with our questions. All right, so. All right, so we will just continue with questions until we resolve that. All right, who has a question that they would like to ask? Somebody that hasn't had a turn? Okay, here's Greg, never mind. All right. He is floating in right now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, hang on 1 second. All right, can you come in again? Are you there? I had to mute everybody. Come back.
Got to make him a co-host.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, don't forget to make him co-host.
Yeah. All right, Greg?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, good. All right, the iBUG bite tonight I wanted to make sure everybody knew how to send a Happy New Year's message with screen effects. So in order to do that, before we start, we need to go into settings and accessibility. So let me do that.
Accessibility button.
All right, so I'll double tap on accessibility.
Vision heading.
I want to flick to the right until I hear motion.
Voiceover. Zoom. Off. Display and tap motion button.
Okay, motion. I'm going to double tap on that.
Reduce motion off.
Okay, reduce motion. We need to have that turned off. Okay, and then I'm going to flick right.
Use the motion of the autoplay message effects on.
Okay, autoplay message effects. We need to have that turned on. Okay, so now let me go into my messages app. Open messages.
You have no new messages. Allows full screen effects in the messages app to up settings.
Okay.
Set messages. 4 apps. Messages.
Okay,
Messages.
so I'm in my messages app. I'm going to compose a message to myself.
Compose button. To text field is it to text field is editing word.
Greg.
Results. Greg Williams. More info. Greg. 512869992 added recipient to text field is editing.
Okay, so I've got my name.
151.
I've got my name in the to field. So now I'm going to go down to the messages field.
Greg add camera apps with message iMessage text field.
Okay, and let me mention on this, you have to both be on iOS, on iPhones to get these screen effects to go through. If you're sending them from an iPhone to an Android, the Android recipient will not see the screen effects. So I'm going to go into this text field.
Insertion point at end.
Okay, I'm gonna do a 2-finger double tap and dictate Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Inserted Happy New Year.
All right, so we're gonna flick over to send.
Messages. Message text field send button.
Okay, now if this works right, you're gonna hear fireworks, and if you have any vision at all, you'll see flashing firework type display on your screen. So let's see what happens.
Send full screen effect. Fireworks burst and fade over a black backdrop. Greg, Happy New Year. Message received from.
Okay, so.
Page 1 of 1. Send a speech off.
So that's how you send a Happy New Year's message with screen effects. You can do the same thing for happy birthday or congratulations, like if somebody graduated from school or whatever. There are a few others you can do, but anyway, that's how you do Happy New Year, a Happy New Year message. And that's the only thing. You can't have any additional characters or anything in that message field. It's just strictly Happy New Year or happy birthday or congratulations. So that's it for the iBUG Byte. Do we have any questions or comments?
All right, very cool. Just in time for New Year's. All right, let's see. Okay, who has any questions for Greg?
This is Helene.
Go ahead, Helene.
Can you repeat? I know you said motion off, and what was the thing that goes on?
The other one is screen effects, and you want to have that turned on.
And that'll be in the same category under
Right.
accessibility.
They're both in accessibility, and you flick right to motion, and both of those items are under the motion category.
Thanks.
Good question.
This is Jody.
Jody, go ahead.
Yeah, you turn motion off. What happens if you turn it on? What does that do?
I think the screen the screen effects I don't think will work, but I think that motion off, motion on has to do with it's fading when you switch from app to app. Maybe there's, if you could see, then there's some kind of fading or transition effect.
Oh, okay.
I think, I
Thank you.
believe. Anybody else?
This is Sandhya.
Sandhya.
In addition to the sound, you also get like haptic feedback as well, right? It's like the phone is vibrating, like when it's going.
You know, I didn't notice that, but you may be right on that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take maybe right. Okay. Anybody else? Or maybe it's just I mean, because it describes, VoiceOver is describing what it's doing. So it's very cool.
Yeah.
And to add to
This
the
is
list,
Pete.
hey, 1 second. To add to the list of things that you can say to it, I was very happy to see that you can say Happy Diwali, which is the festival of lights for Hindus. And I never knew that. So it's very cool. Anyway, okay, go ahead, Pete. Oh, sorry, Pete.
Yeah, just wanted to confirm you're right. It does give you haptic feedback, which is really cool and kind of alarming.
Hey, I am right. Thank you.
And
All
happy Diwali.
Yeah, only 1 month late, but that's okay. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else for Greg? All right. So now you can wish all your friends Happy New Year, happy birthday, and all that good stuff. And I think it even works for happy 4th of July. All right. Well, thank you very much, Greg. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. Who has a question? Somebody new that hasn't had a turn. We'd love to hear from you. You're going to have to wait until next year if you don't ask your question now. Just let you know, because we're not having a call next week, but I'll remind everybody of that in a minute. Okay, who else? Anybody? Okay, well, fine. I had a similar, another bar. Oh, somebody's going to go. Psst. Okay, who's that?
This is Terry.
Go,
I don't,
Terry. Okay, go ahead.
I'm not new, but
Okay, go ahead.
well, first, I did not find, as a follow-up, but I have a question, but I did not find, oh, now I forgot what the name of the app is. I found the health app, but I did not find a fitness app specifically that was added in 16.2, but maybe it's somewhere that I'm just not aware of. So, but I will do my homework again and follow up for next year.
Okay. All right.
And my question is, I'm asking this for another person because I don't use the app myself, or actually several people, because I know it was broken. The Apple Books app. Since iOS 15, for Braille users, it's not worked well at all. And several people have thought that with iOS 16.2, they fixed it so you could read books on a Braille display from your phone using the Apple Books app.
Okay.
But one friend cannot get it to work, to save her soul, because she did update thinking that it was fixed, but she is not able to use it successfully yet.
Okay, so the question is anybody able to use Apple Books or iBooks now in 16.2 with Braille?
With your Braille display.
Braille display. Yep. Anybody? Okay, it's a very specific question. So searing silence, so we'll have to keep checking it out, but thanks for the question. All right. Okay, my question is on Bard. Once again, we're returning to Bard. When I'm hitting the rewind button, for some reason, it kicks me out of the book completely, unless it could be user error. I admit that, but usually I'm doing this while I'm half asleep, but it happens multiple times. And so I'm not sure, but so anyway, what happens is that I hit rewind and, and then I end up back in my list of books, like basically in my bookshelf. Has that happened to anybody? And then it's
This is Helene.
Go ahead, Helene.
Yes, that happens regularly as well, and I
Oh,
end up
good.
back in the list. And what I do is I go to the bottom of the phone and go to now reading,
Ah.
and occasionally that going back to now reading or reading now, then I get it.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, very good. That's a good use for now reading. Oh, one of the tabs at the bottom. Okay. Thank you, Helene. Okay. Very good. All right. I got my question answered, so I'm done. Bye. All right. Who's next? Who has a new question? Somebody's got to have a question.
It's Chris.
Chris, go ahead.
This is just a quick follow-up. I think it was Helene had this question a couple of weeks ago, and she may already know the answer. But under contact, she wanted to get the My Card to have her information in it under contacts. And the way to do that is if you go under settings and then Siri and search, there's a tab there that says My Information. If you tap on that, that will bring you into contacts, and you tap your name, and that will create the My Card under contacts for you.
All right. Thank you, Chris, for the follow-up. I had just one comment. Lots of people today have asked questions on behalf of their friends, and that's great, but we would love to have your friends come along and participate as well. We'd, love to meet new people, and they can come and ask their questions as well, and it would be a good introduction to iBUG. So please extend our welcome to all of them. All right, who's got a next new question? Somebody new or old? I mean, not new. Anybody?
This is Jody.
Go ahead, Jody.
I agree. I'm trying to drag her every week. So
Okay, that's good. That's fine.
I'm trying.
Okay.
I just wanted to comment. Everybody probably already knows, or if you don't, Soundscape is going to be discontinued. You won't be able to get it in the App Store after January. So if you want to get it now. And then they won't be supporting it anymore after June, but it's going to go into an open source. So somebody else will be able to get the program for it, and theoretically have it available through a third party. But Microsoft isn't going to be supporting it anymore. So I was very upset about it. If you go to the app and you go to settings, you can send feedback, and I did send feedback saying how very sorry I was that they were going to be discontinuing it. I hope they don't do the same thing with Seeing AI.
All right, I agree. All right, thank you, Jody. All right, who's next? Question. Who would like to go?
This is Herbie.
next? Oh, okay. Go ahead, Herbie.
The only thing I just first of all, I guess one question is if your friends are invisible friends, how do we get them to come?
Yeah, I know.
The voices inside your head. The other thing I was going to say, though, in favor of Microsoft Seeing AI not going away, I mean, that app has been around for a long time. So, at least going back to 2017. So, that's at least one encouraging thing about it. Because Soundscape is practically, like here and gone. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Herbie. Okay, I think I heard somebody else right before Herbie. Somebody was trying to make.
This is Chanel, and
ahead,
I'm
Chanel.
afraid my question is too specific too, but I can try it.
Go ahead.
Is anybody else still experiencing Braille bugs in 1602 or 1602? Oh dear, 16.2, where when you press the enter, you can't really press the enter key to send a message. You actually have to go find the send button and all that. You can't use. I haven't verified. I don't think so. The selection commands work either in Braille, but just wondering if anybody is still experiencing that, because I am.
Okay, Braille bugs with 16.2. Anybody? Probably the same people that are not using Apple iBooks with their
I
Braille
know, which
display.
sadly I'm one of them, but
Okay.
This is Terry.
All right, go Terry.
I believe it's not a bug. I believe you have to, and I have to look it up again. There is a specific Braille display command for the enter key.
yeah, and they claim that it was supposed to have been fixed with the human wear displays, but I'm going back to what those commands, the workarounds were because
It
still have to be used.
This
All
is
right.
Terry.
Go ahead, Terry.
It was like .7 or .4. I forget. I gotta go look, and it could be different from different braille displays, but I think it was .7 plus some other key.
All right, we will follow up with that. Thank you,
Yep.
Terry Ann and Chanel. Okay, next. Who else? Who else? New question? New problem?
This is Dee.
Go ahead, Dee.
Okay. I'm having an experience. I used to put phone numbers and favorites, in the phone app.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't done it in ages. Well, tonight I had some I wanted to put in there.
Me?
So
You gonna put me in your favorites?
No.
Oh, fine.
No, I'm not going to put you in my favorites.
Okay, that's all right.
I work a little harder for you.
Okay. Okay,
So-
so you're
Thanks,
trying
Dee.
to
I appreciate it,
you're
Dee.
trying to put somebody in favorites. Is that your question?
Yeah, and I was going into where the recents and where the number was there, and I would flick down to more information, and I'd swipe right to it would say add to favorites. I'd tap on that, and this thing would come up, and it was kind of like their contact card, and then it would say dismiss contact
Context menu.
menu. Yeah. And so I never got them in there. So then I just went into my contacts to the individuals, and down there it'll say add to favorites. So I tap on that and I get the same results.
Oh, because
Am I doing something wrong?
Oh no. Okay, well, let's see what Brad has to say. Brad, what you say?
Well, I think what it may be asking is, let's say you've got somebody's phone number, their email, something like that, and it probably is phone number, but it's asking you, do you want to, when you add them to favorites, do you want to call them or do you want to send them a text message? Because I've been able to add people to favorites where they're in there, but when I tap on them, it opens the messages app, so I could send a iMessage or a text message, or phone number. Maybe I have their home phone or their iPhone, so it's asking me which phone number I want to add. So that's what it's asking. Is there several options? Which option to communicate with this person do you want to add to your favorites?
Absolutely. I
Okay,
remember
this
that.
is D.
Okay, go D.
So I should tap on call then, because that's what I want to. I want to put them in my
Right.
call list.
Right,
This
because
is
you
Brad.
could have the option of video call. You could have WhatsApp. I mean, there's different
FaceTime, yeah.
I
Do
was
you want to
afraid
call
to
their
get
home?
called
Do you want to
because
call
thought
their
it was going
cell?
to call them.
No, it's not going to. You're basically just choosing. It's not
Yeah, it's a bunch
active.
of options.
All right,
Wish
very
you'd quit
good.
changing things when I know how to do
I
something.
know.
Okay, thank
Very
you.
good. So you'll have somebody in your favorites besides me. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Next, who's going on? Who's going next? New question.
This is Jody with a comment.
Go ahead.
The only downside is that when you put them in your favorites and then you go to favorites, there's a glitch where you tap on their name, or then you'll end up going to the wrong person.
Yeah, so that can happen.
That happens in recents also.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd mention that.
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. Who's next? New question.
This is Sri.
Go ahead.
Just out of curiosity, those who have the iPhone 14, have you guys tried to see if how well the satellite works?
Hey, anybody? Satellite users?
This is Brad.
Oh, Brad.
Don't you have to be lost in the wilderness and without a cell phone, without a cellular signal in order to use that? I believe that's the case.
He's suggesting that you go out in the woods and try it, Brad.
Around here, you'd have to go pretty far out.
Well, I think I heard, I think I heard this weekend that somebody, I thought of Shri actually, this couple went off a cliff in California and went down like 300 feet, and they used that
But they
feature
were like
to.
not exactly in an urban area.
I know they were in the middle of absolutely nowhere, but that's
Yeah,
what
in the
saved them.
desert. Exactly.
All right, very good, Tree. Okay, well,
This
thank
is
you.
Greg.
Go, Greg.
Yeah, there is a
Not going to
test.
be able to do
there is
that
a
in the
test
DC
feature.
Hang on, Brad.
area.
Go ahead, Greg. What?
Yeah, there is a test feature.
Okay.
I tried that the other day, and it said I went out in the driveway and it said it's not available. but there is a test. You can do a test if you go into that in settings.
So you went out in your driveway and what did it say?
Yeah, I was pretending that I was lost in the
In your
wilderness.
driveway? Okay.
Well, hey, what can I
Okay.
say?
I know. What can you say? Thank you, Greg.
Yes.
Right.
Greg is done speaking.
I know. Thank goodness. Okay. Who's next? New question? Anybody else lost in their driveway like Greg? Come on. Any new questions?
This is Ned.
Go ahead, Ned. Welcome.
Yes, this goes back to the question about the person who deleted her text message by mistake. And just out of curiosity, how long is that text message strand there? Does the earlier parts fall off, or is it from the very beginning for years and years and years and years? I don't know if that's a memory question, or I'm just curious how long the text message is there.
Okay.
The
so
length of it.
Right. So Karen deleted a conversation.
Yes.
And if you, yeah, like I'm a pack rat. I have conversations going back years. So I think it just, anybody want to help answer that? Just, I think how you're saying, like, does the older part go away first or what?
Let's say you have a text message that goes on for 3 years. Is all 3 years there, or does the earlier part fall off or
the
go
whole
away?
thing. Well, no, I mean,
This is
when she
Herbie.
deleted it, the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yes.
Go ahead, Herbie.
So as long as you keep a conversation going, it is all there. Now here's the tricky part. I know we don't talk about other devices, and I don't know if having a keyboard would help on the phone because it can be really tricky to really go back really farther. And I find that a lot easier on the Mac, but I've definitely gone back at least a year's worth of my conversations for some things. Now they're yeah, I do believe it is all there. And if you delete a conversation thread, then that is all gone, at least from your phone. Now, whether there's some way a skilled technician could get to it in the cloud still, that is beyond my pay grade and anybody's here, but probably.
All right. Thank you, Herbie.
This is Pete.
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
Pete.
I just wanted to point out to Herbie, and maybe I missed a point, but I did, after Greg talked about that new feature in iOS 16 about recovering deleted threads, deleted messages.
Okay.
I found some that I had deleted 22 days ago. So I think you could go back, and it didn't specify any limitation on how far back you could go and use that recovery feature. Now, I don't know how Herbie did it.
Go, Greg.
Yeah, I think it's a 30-day limit.
Right, 30 days. Okay, and as the
and
question,
this is Herbie.
hang on, the question that was posed by Karen, she did it like a couple of months ago, so
yeah,
it wouldn't work. Okay, go ahead, Herbie, and then we're moving on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm referring to like in my I've definitely used that recover feature and it works well. But if you deleted conversations accidentally before iOS 16,
right.
That's a whole nother matter because like I deleted my conversation once with somebody about Harvey, and I was so mad at myself for accidentally deleting that because it says, hey, that was my diary, but that's okay.
All right.
This is Chris.
Go, Chris.
As far as how long does it fall, that Ned was asking, does it fall off the thread, just a current conversation? Does it, naturally, like for 3 years, 5 years? That's a setting under messages. You can keep it, and I don't use it, but I think there's one for like a year or something. You can actually, there is a setting for messages to tell it to kind of, to prune it like that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, as far as if you are searching for something in a very long thread, there's always the search feature in your messages app. So you could search for a word if you are looking for somebody's address or, something.
Probably so just scroll up too, couldn't you?
Well, you have 3 or 4 years worth.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
So just searching is probably more effective. Okay, thank you. Good question. All right, who's next? New question. Somebody new hadn't had a turn. I want to ask a question. And start picking names.
Bridget.
Oh, Miss Bridget, thank you. What's your question?
Okay, you all just say so much. I mostly listen, but everything that they was just saying about texting falling off, maybe I have a lot of people sending me text with description on it of the pictures. So will that pertain to pictures too? If I make a mistake and erase it or something, or could I get the pictures and put them somewhere else where they could be safe?
Okay, who would like to? So Miss Bridget is worried about if she gets a picture in a text and accidentally deletes it, what will happen to her picture? So what can she do to protect her picture?
This is
Anybody want-
Ned.
Go ahead, Ned.
I don't know about retrieving the picture, but what I do when I get a picture in a text message, I save it to my album.
Yep, there you go. That's what you could do. It'll go to your, you can put it in a specific place, but at least it'll be out of the text message. And then even if it accidentally gets deleted, it'll be in a safe place.
This is free.
Okay, well, hold on. Miss Bridget, what? I thought she had a comment. Okay, go Shri.
She asked if Ned said in an album.
Yeah, there's an album in the photos library. In the photo there, you can create albums there. Or if you don't specify, I think it'll just go to your camera roll, I believe. Okay, go Shri.
I was going to say, I do believe that if you do accidentally delete from the photo album, that's also completely gone. So what I typically do, if it's very critical, I move it to the files app folder. I just create a folder called personal photos. I throw it in there. So that way, if it did get deleted from the photos album, it's still there.
Okay. All right, but her question was about text messages. So, okay, but everything can be deleted. Okay, go ahead, Pete.
For Bridget's sake, I think, and for mine. So I've got my text with a photo. Can Ned or whoever can do it walk me through the mechanics, the step-by-steps on how to get them into my album?
This is Shri.
Go Shri.
Basically, when you go to a photo, you have the option to share it. When you share it, it's going to ask you, do you want to save it to multiple choices? Like you can save it as an image. If you save it as an image, it'll go to the album, your photo library, I should say.
So right on the text screen there's a share button. Okay. And one of those options would then be to share it as an image or a photograph.
You'll have options like, share. You want to share it in Dropbox, you want to share it as files, you want to save it as an image. And I believe if you save it as an image, it'll go to the photo roll.
So that's what Bridget and I would want to do if we wanted to get it into our photo albums.
Right.
All right.
You can even create a favorites, if it's a really special photo, you can save it as a favorite. If it's something that you have to often refer to, maybe it's a document or a picture of a document that somebody can read for you, you could put it in favorites. Okay, so.
That helped Bridget. Bridget, did that help a little?
Well, so it just confused me a little bit because I'm trying to learn how to do that on the computer now. So I didn't know you could do that on your phone.
Right. This is all about the phone.
Yeah, this is just.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Jody.
Okay, Jody, go ahead.
Yeah, I whenever there's a photo in on a text message that I want to save, I do a one finger double tap on the photo, and then that brings the photo up, and then I hit share. I don't know if you can do it directly from the text message, but I usually tap on the photo before I hit the share.
All right, good. Okay, who else?
This is Sarah.
Go, Sarah.
One, an additional piece of advice is that once you share it to your photo library, you want to delete it in your text messages because it's taking up space both places. It's not transferring, it's not moving to the photo album. You're just copying it to the photo album, and it will stay in your text lineup. So you should delete that because it will take up, more space.
All right. Yeah, that's probably a lot of information for Ms. Bridget, but that's a good start there. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
All right. Who's next? New question. Somebody that hasn't had a turn.
David?
Go, David.
Oh, just one more word about, I guess, the thing about saving the photos. There's a save image button usually under the photo even before you expand it. So if you're just looking at it, you know how it comes in your text message, and then like she said, if you double tap on it, it makes it larger. Then you have the other options, but there should be a save image or save photo. I can't remember what it says. Either save photo or save image, and it will automatically save to your camera roll, like I said, and they'll be in your recent photos.
Well, this is
Where I usually find them under.
What did you say about making it larger? How do you do that?
Oh, she said, you double tap on the photo and it makes it full screen.
Oh,
I mean,
full
I guess
screen.
you can't see, you don't
Yeah.
really know it's full
Yeah,
screen,
yeah,
but yeah, that's what it does.
Yeah.
It makes
Otherwise, it's a
bigger.
thumbnail. Yeah.
And then you have more options on there, but the basic save is there before you even have to expand it.
Okay.
At least I found that to be the case on mine. I get a lot of photos, so I typically tend to save them right away, like I said, so they don't get lost. And actually, the Photos app does save your photos. You can delete them for like 30 days. So if you make a mistake, you're not like forever.
Wait, what? Say that again. Yeah. Wait, what?
It's say you can recover deleted photos for I think 30 days as well.
Okay. So is that a default setting, or do you have to set it?
I think it's default setting. Yeah, because there's like a deleted photos album. I think that was added in one of the last iOS's, maybe 1 or 2 ago, where you have the option to undelete photos.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. Good to know. Okay. All right. Who's next? New question? Somebody? New question, new problem. Something you're dying to know about.
This is Ned.
Go ahead, Ned.
I think the silence says we all want to live.
Well, figure of speech. Well, I can tell you, let's see, what other weird stuff is there? There have been some weird things that have been happening on my phone, but I usually keep a list, but there's I am going to start I'm going to give my mom my old Apple Watch and have an excuse to buy a new one. So I'll probably have lots of questions about how to set up her phone with my old watch. Okay, well, that's a question. Do I need to do anything to my watch do I need to wipe it, or
This is Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
Unpair it. That'll wipe it. Unpair it from your phone, whatever we call it. Is it still paired to your
Yeah.
I don't know, your current phone, your older phone, whatever phone it was paired with.
I think it's connected to both of them.
Okay, well, unpair it.
Okay.
Go into the watch app, select that phone, and forgive me. I know it when I see it. I'm bad about this, but I know it when I see it. I can't remember the correct terminology.
Okay,
Maybe
all right,
Herbie will help me out, but I
Unpair
believe
it.
the terminology is, unpair from unpair watch, unpair from this iPhone. And if I've never had one paired, I know you can pair more than one watch to an iPhone. I don't know if you can have a watch paired to more than one iPhone. That's a good question.
Well,
This is Terry.
Trade them in and get rid of them.
All right. Yeah, they're all sitting there. Okay, go, Terry Ann.
To my knowledge, you cannot pair one watch to 2 phones, but what can happen is if you don't remove all of your information from your phone, your watch, when you transfer it over to the new phone, even after you unpair it, your information would stay there unless you remove it.
Well, okay, here's another,
is-
I just thought of something real quick. What, my mom, I have a feeling this watch is going to get lost and all this kind of crazy stuff. Was there a setting specifically for like setting things up for your parent? But was there some kind of, was kind of write down this, addressing this issue?
This
Anybody?
is Terry.
Go, Terry.
Are you thinking of there's a legacy app?
No,
not
It
that.
was like helping, like if you had a child, you gave them a watch.
This is
It
Brad.
was Brad.
That's for like when they don't have an iPhone.
Oh,
But
they
your
don't
mom has
have
an iPhone, right?
Yes.
And when you unpair your phone, it does wipe it, put it
Uh-huh.
back to factory default.
Okay.
And
Right.
then, and it's a clean watch. And then you'll pair it with your mom's iPhone. And then it's paired with her iPhone. It'll show up and Find My and all their stuff. So if your mom gets lost, you can find her as long as she's got the watch on, all that stuff.
All
I
right.
think
I
maybe you could do a demo on that. Oh, maybe
I
you
just
have.
don't
Never
see
mind.
her being responsible. She barely charges her phone, so I don't think this is going to last too long. But okay, go, Jerry.
Yeah, I wanted to just say, I think there is a setting in the watch where you can put it back to factory defaults. If I'm not mistaken, it's either on the app or in the watch itself. That will wipe it, I believe. I'm don't quote me, but I think yeah. So if I'd like to ask the next question.
Go ahead. Quickly. Go
I'm a
ahead.
little bit embarrassed about this, but
Hurry, scurry.
yeah, I have just signed in on my iPad to my Facebook account over the weekend for something, and I am getting, my daughter called me and said, you've been hacked, and I don't know how to unhack myself. Should I just change my password? What should I do? I don't see it when I go on the account. So I'm curious as to how I can get my Facebook thing back again.
All right. So you logged in with your iPad.
Yeah,
And
on Facebook with something. I can't even remember what it was. But
Okay.
and it was AccuRadio.
And then who said
so
you were hacked? I mean,
my daughter.
your daughter says
So
you
I
were
don't know whether it's that iPad or whether I truly have been
This is
hacked.
Terry.
Okay, go,
Yeah.
Terry.
This has happened to me. Somebody else let me know that I was hacked. You have to change, at the very least, you want to change your password.
Okay.
You also might need to go in and change things to private so that only, your the people you're friends with
yeah.
can see you, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it.
All righty. Okay, I believe we are at the end of our meeting for today. So I want to thank Greg for helping us out, facilitating. And then I want to thank all of our people with all the great questions today and all throughout the year. So just a reminder that we will be off tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow. we will not be off tomorrow. We'll be off on Monday.
Some of us will be off.
Yeah, right. Some people are way off. Okay, so
Way off,
December
exactly.
26th, December 26th, we will not be here, and we will be back on January 2nd. But we will have one other event between now. I mean, we have a couple of things to the rest of this week. We have Clubhouse, we have the Mac Buzz tomorrow at 5 p.m. We have the Android Insight on Wednesday night from 7 to 8:30. And then we'll have this week's movie, It's a Wonderful Life, that classic movie. So we hope that you'll come and join us for that. And then after that, for the following week, we're going to move the Friday night movie to Saturday in order to coincide with New Year's Eve. So we will be watching that. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. All right. So with that, we will say goodnight and wish everybody a very happy holiday and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and all that good. Just be careful and have safe holiday. And we will see you back. And thank you for all your support throughout the year. And check out the Apple workshop. It should be on our website. And we had a lot of fun. We had a demo by Jerry. We had a demo by Herbie. We had a skit by Chris. So come and check it out, and we will see you next. See you soon. Okay. All right. Good night, y'all. Thank you. Yeah. Merry Christmas, Julie. All right.
Good night,
Yes.
all.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Thanks.
night. Watch those wings, Sarah girl.
Got to keep that ice off it.